The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up his cross or follow after me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. Whoever receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. Whoever receives a righteous man because he's a righteous man will receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever gives only a cup of cold water to one of these little ones to drink because the little one is a disciple, well then, amen, I say to you, he will surely not lose his reward." The Gospel of the Lord. Whoever gives, whoever receives, will find. Everybody's doing a brand new dance now, so come on, baby, do the locomotion. I know you'll get to like it if you give it a chance now, so come on, baby, do the locomotion. You do it nice and easy, you don't lose control. All you need is a little bit of rhythm and a whole lot of soul. So come on, and do the locomotion with me. So that's how I start out a family blessing service that we hold at every orientation here at St. Joe's for some years now. So students always get this introduction to St. Joe's and the Jesuit values of our Catholic University through listening to that song about emotion, a movement that you can have. We usually read the two great commandments in the Gospel of Mark and say, love God and love neighbor. This is what we're about. And moving into that with a sense of understanding and openness is what we're about here, and hopefully you're about, if you so choose, in your journey at St. Joe's. So for many years, folks would know that. I always tell the backstory of the locomotion about Geffen and King, the two songwriters who hired a babysitter, Eva Narcissus Boyd. She and her family had fled the South looking for better opportunities, especially educational opportunities in New York City. So as a teenager, she became the babysitter for Jerry Geffen and Carole King as they were trying to work on their music, kind of struggling artists. And in the mix of all of this, they finally got this song that they thought would be their breakthrough. They had lots of talented musician friends who helped them make a demo tape that they could try to take to the music companies. They didn't have any major singers who could do it for them. They didn't have the money to hire anybody of note, so they hired Eva, their babysitter, to sing it because she had a great sense of it, great sense of the song, her own beat, her own rhythm, a rhyme, her own movement that they really appreciated. They just knew they wouldn't tell anybody that it's our 16-year-old babysitter singing it. But an interesting thing happened was that almost every record label they went to said, "Who's singing the song? She owns that song. It belongs to her." And the record label that bought that song, The Locomotion, ended up insisting that Eva Boyd be the singer on it. And she became Little Eva. The song shot to the top of the charts, #1, back in, I think, 1962. That song has hit into the top 5 of the charts almost every decade after the 60s. It's just something about it. Something has a staying power. Something's great, whether it's a cover of another song or even as recently as the early 2000s, it was the Little Eva version that was on the top of the charts in arguably the largest music market in the world, which is the People's Republic of China. There's something attractive about something when it finally hits and it's moving and it feels like there's a movement and spirit in it. And I think that kind of movement, that kind of rightness is what Jesus is talking about in today's Gospel of Matthew. In Matthew's Gospel, it says that whoever finds and whoever's looking, whoever loves, whoever receives, whoever is open to that receptivity, whoever gives out of a compassion, anybody who has that kind of movement and motion will sustain them. That's coming from God. St. Ignatius of Loyola would call those holy desires that are implanted in each and every one of us, made as part of us by a creator God who wants us to live out of those holy desires and freely choose them. And so I just want to think that as we continue through the summer in these ordinary times, as we welcome new students here at St. Joe's, why maybe aren't we looking a little more deeply for that movement of grace that God really wants to give us? Our own movement of desire, our own locomotion, you might say, that comes from within, that's ours, so that we can use it to, as our students are encouraged to explore their gifts, their talents, do the things that allow them to succeed so that they can succeed in the world and therefore change the world, because the world will benefit when their gifts and talents are used to their fullest and they do right by God, and loving neighbor and coming into an understanding with each other around that. Things move, things happen. Our lives are successful, the world is a better place. That's in some ways the essence of Jesuit education, and so I think there's a way in which you and I might want to think about that, especially if maybe we can look back on our own learning, our own openness at one time to new knowledge, to new developments, to new self-realizations. Well, that never ends, it never stops. It's a lifelong project. And today, I think Jesus in this gospel is saying, look, have a life that's open so that maybe you lose those things that are holding you back, so that you receive the one who sent me, receive one another, receive a righteous person, receive the prophet's voice, whatever that may be in our own time, and certainly receive and give to each other to help one another, that giving these little ones something to drink. I remember years ago when I was working in Camden, New Jersey, we did the Way of the Cross through the streets on Good Friday, and every once in a while, in a given year, people would add stations that weren't there by tradition, certainly weren't scripturally based. And I remember one of them was Jesus is given a glass of water by somebody, a cup of water, somebody brings it to him. I'm like, that's not a regular station. And then I thought, this is the theology of the people here in the community. Somebody ought to. It was also a time when the kid who was carrying the cross probably needed a cup of water. So let's add a station. Let's reenact what maybe should have happened or maybe did happen, even though it didn't get recorded. So I was thinking of that at the end of today's gospel, because when we trust those instincts, those movements within us like that, we step forward and do what is naturally and absolutely by grace the right thing. We live a wholeness and a happiness and a healthiness in our own lives, because it's the movement within us calling that forth out of us into the movement of our life. And so, friends, just remember, you do it nice and easy, you don't lose control. All you need is a little bit of rhythm and a whole lot of soul. So Jesus is inviting us, I think, in today's gospel and always to let that motion of our own graces and desires lead us forward into a locomotion imbued by God that calls us forth to step into the life we're to live today and tomorrow and the next day. God bless.